The following is a presentation of the Women's Football Alliance.
April has ended and the playoffs are next month. Welcome to May on the road to Canton. Welcome to another week of Road to Canton. I'm Brian Sweeney, the voice of the Women's Football Alliance Pro Division National Championship game. Week 4 is behind us and we had some good games and a few surprises. Here are the scores and highlights from Week 4's Pro Division games. The Cali War remain undefeated, now at 3-0 after blanking the previously unbeaten Arizona Outcast by a final score of 55-0. The Pittsburgh Passion also stayed unbeaten with a 35-0 victory over the Tri-State Warriors. The DC Divas traveled to the Nighthawks and improved to 2-1 on the season with a final score of 42-6. The St. Louis Slam also improved to 2-1 on the season when they played their first home game since 2019 and came away with a 38-6 victory over the Derby City Dynamite. The Tampa Bay Inferno gave the Orlando Anarchy their first loss of the season by beating them 42-20. And in WFA Pro head-to-head games, Detroit falls to 2-1 on the season with their second loss coming to last year's national champion Boston Renegades, final score 49-0. Two Texas teams clashed and Arlington came out on top, beating the Dallas Elite Mustangs 34-7. Finally, in what may be one of the greatest comebacks the WFA has ever seen, the Nevada Storm beat the Minnesota Vixen 28-26 after trailing 20-0 at the half. Alex Westhead breaks down the Vixen Storm game.
Thanks, Brian. The WFA Pro Division Game of the Week in week number 4 featured the Nevada Storm and the Minnesota Vixen taking to the field just in Reno, Nevada. The Minnesota Vixen would put the points on the scoreboard first as a Grace Cooper rushing touchdown gave Minnesota, with a 2-point conversion, an 8-0 lead. The kicking game, as we'll find out later on in this contest, became an important role as winds were high in Reno, Nevada last Saturday. After a couple of turnovers on downs by the Nevada Storm, Minnesota would regain possession, converting a 4th and 3 opportunity to set up 1st and goal for Minnesota in the late stages of the first quarter. Jessie Haas thought that she had scored a touchdown from 4 yards out. However, a Minnesota Vixen penalty negated it with 3 seconds left in the quarter. And that is how, at the end of the first quarter, the Minnesota Vixen led Reno by a score of 8-0. Early stage of the second quarter, quarterback Aaron Kelly found Jackie Radford for a touchdown pass and reception. The 2-point conversion attempt was no good. Once more, as a result of that wind, Minnesota tried to use the run game but was stopped by the stout Nevada defensive line. 14-0 Minnesota led in the second quarter. Then Jamie Salome for the Minnesota Vixen with a huge tackle for loss on a fake punt attempt. Minnesota with a great field position to add to their lead and unfortunately was unable to convert on a 4th and 8. Minnesota turned the ball over on downs and still led 14-0. Mel Ochin was able to find and connect with Coangelo a number of times as Nevada once more took over on downs, and some really good offensive play before a Jamie Karshbaum pick-6 interception that gave Minnesota a 20-0 lead, and that would be the score at the half. The Karshbaum interception was the 3rd pick-6 for Minnesota this season, and the Minnesota defense playing well in the first half. In the second half, Nevada was able to take advantage of a fumble on the opening possession for Minnesota before having their drive stall out on the 4th down opportunity and a turnover on downs. Minnesota then the next drive would take over and would continue to work the ball down the field. Jesse Felker able to put the ball in the end zone for the Nevada Storm and gave them a 2-possession game with 26 seconds left in the third quarter. Star running backs for the two teams, Minnesota's Cooper and Nevada's Plummer, did not play very frequently in this contest. In fact, Plummer did not play at all. Cooper only played on the first drive due to injury. On the ensuing kickoff, after the Jesse Felker go-to-goal touchdown, Nevada recovered as Minnesota did not play the ball after it had gone to 10 yards. Minnesota, however, was able to force a turnover on downs in a very good defensive stand, and that gave Minnesota the opportunity to add to the score, which they did. Jessie Haas found the end zone for her first official time in the contest. 2-point conversion was no good, and the Vixen led 26-6 over the Nevada Storm. The Storm would answer back on the next possession, finding the end zone for a touchdown to make it 26-12 with 8 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in regulation. Then the Storm were able to convert the 2-point conversion to make it 26-14. With 4:01 left in regulation, Jesse Felker found the end zone once again, evading the contact on the first level. Find the end zone. The point after try was blocked as the Storm began to attempt kicks. It was 26-20, Minnesota in front with 4:01 remaining in regulation time. Then, Minnesota's next drive. Angela Train Griffin tried to turn the ball forward on a 4th and 1. The Storm took over with about 2 minutes left to go in regulation. Minnesota was still up 26-20, looking to hold on, but could not. Alyssa Williams with the touchdown that put the game tied at 26-26. And the lead star for the Nevada Storm in this contest, Jessie Felker, able to make the 2-point conversion as Nevada took the lead 28-26 with 22 unanswered points with 1:22 left. On the ensuing kickoff, Minnesota had to go right off of the receiver's pads and right to a Nevada Storm. As for the second time today, Minnesota had given up a free kickoff recovery to the Nevada Storm. Nevada, all they needed to do was wind out the clock, and for Minnesota sports fans, the calendar of calamity had a new entrance as the Reno, Nevada Storm were able to defeat the Minnesota Vixen by a final score of 28-26.
I caught up with head coach Chris Garza and quarterback Mo Etchen the day after their win for this report. So what a game the two of you had last night. I mean, you go into the locker room at halftime and you're down 20-0. Coach, what is it that you said to your team in that locker room?
I gave them a list of what we needed to change and what we had to work on. Our ladies are really resilient into hearing the good feedback that they need to hear and what they need to adjust to. Most of all, we just told them to believe in themselves and go out there and just do what they always do and just have fun doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, Mo, you had some passes in that fourth quarter that, they rival things that you see in the NFL, by Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Those were passes that lead a team to victory. And as a leader on the field, you had to feel good knowing that you were just marching down that field and scoring those unanswered points. How did that feel?
It was amazing. I think, like Coach said, we're a really resilient team and we don't give up. And I think we all knew what we had to do and come together and just play by play, make it work. And it felt amazing knowing that I also was helping to score and get us to where we needed to be.
So, 2019, you guys are the Division III national champions. 2020, there's no season. 2021, now you're the Division II national champions. And I think you showed last night with that comeback win over Minnesota that you're ready to make a strong run for the Pro Division national championship. Coach, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Our defense is working hard. Year after year, we're on the top of the leaderboards with our defense. We're playing smarter this year on that side of the football. Offense is always led by Coach Adam Barrett, and the strategy is there. We love playing strategy with our games, and I think that's really going to help us propel to further down the line.
And Mo, what about you? You've been a part of this team now for all these championships. Are you ready to finish this off and get that Pro Division championship as well?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. I think we're just continue to grow each year. I can see us change and develop more and be better football players and a better football team.
We'll be right back.
The Women's Football Alliance wants to thank their sponsors, KT Tape, Coors Light, Wilson, Aid Nation, Zenith, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, Secret, and the NFL Alumni Academy. Thank you for your support of the Women's Football Alliance.
Lois Cook is back again, this time for a little mom talk in her segment, Low on the Go.
Oh, hey! You expecting someone else? I'm sorry, my mom's not here today. Yeah, we did do one today. I'm here! Is that also talking about moms. We have a special show for you today. Yeah, let's do play. Did you know at WFA, as I was saying, did you know at WFA is full with moms? What? Seriously? Yes, moms who play football. I think it's a perfect week to introduce our those moms. Yeah, mom, me out. Hey, we'll be right back. Lisa's came back from Colorado, and there's a mom who lives there that plays football with 10 kids! 10 kids! Not only he has 10 kids, she travels all the way to DC to play football.
Hey, my name's Christy Duffy, and I play center and right guard.
How do you juggle it all?
I make sure that my home life is as consistent as possible, even with me not around.
What is your message to everyone who's watching?
That you know that you're not doing anything wrong or you're not neglecting your family because you're playing. Go out and do it. Enjoy it.
Look, she has 10 kids. Yeah, what does your family feel about you playing? It's so cool. Go Divas.
Love it. I love watching your passion for football evolve week after week, and the kids and I can watch every game all the way from Colorado.
Hey, Junior, you got it? There's another mom who plays football with a 10-year-old son named Canton, and he plays football too.
Hi, I'm Ashley Watkins. I have been playing for 2 years now. I am number 57 and I play on the offensive line and the defensive line. And this is my son, Hunter Watkins. He's also number 57. He also plays on the offensive and defensive line for the Sheridan Little League football team, and I also coach him.
She taught me how to get a sack of the quarterback.
How many did you get in that one game? 6.
Hey, Hunter, what do you think about your mom playing football?
Cool. I think Mom really likes it and that she loves it.
We heard you have something really cool coming up. Can you tell us about it?
Me and my husband will be coaching the Sheridan Little League football team this year. And I've been asked by our Little League president to go into the schools and encourage girls to come out and play for this next year.
Oh, this mommy. Moms play a really big role in their child's success. Oh yeah, we know that. We're going places.
I hope he learns by watching me and my teammates what a great teammate is, what good sportsmanship is.
Whoa, 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 whoa. They're actually mom, daughter duos who play football together. We're going to talk to Miss Melissa and Miss Ida.
Hi, I'm Melissa Messimer. I am 47 years old and I have been playing football for 20 years. I have played pretty much every single position on the field. This year I am playing linebacker.
My name is Ida Messimer. I'm the starting quarterback for the New York Knockout. I've been playing in the WFA for 2 years and I have been playing football since I was about 7.
Oh! They just start playing football together.
She actually started the team that I'm currently playing for, so when she sold the ownership over, she continued playing, and when I became of age, I joined the team with her.
Here we are, hopefully to defend our Division III WFA Northeast Championship and head to Canton.
There's something special about you playing together. What is it?
She's been my rock my whole entire life, and just having her in a sport that gets really competitive and really heated is amazing. I know she's the toughest person I know, and I know that she's always going to protect me.
As a lineman, I also have the opportunity to protect my child in a way that very few can boast. A mother always protects her children in day-to-day life, but to be able to do it on the field has a little bit of extra meaning.
We gotta know more. Tell us everything. Come on. 5, 6, 7.
I've had the opportunity to meet and befriend people from all walks of life, from all over the country through women's football, and it is my hope that things like this story will be able to help grow the sport in general and open more doors and allow not only myself and Eden, but upcoming generations to go down in history.
Stacy Simpson is a wide receiver and a corner. Dairy Ann Simpson is a kicker. Dairy Ann loves mom watching practice, and she also likes traveling with her. And here's a funny story. In Canton, at the All-American game, Dairy Ann left mom Stacy without underwear for 2 days because she had her bag and didn't get to Ohio when she said she would. Stacy will never trust Dairy Ann with her bags again. Dairy Ann says that's her bestie and she's so thankful for her. It was so beautiful. A moms who play football. On this week on Road to Go, it is our pleasure to honor and send love to all the moms who play football at the WFA.
Last week we had 3 head-to-head Pro Division matchups. This week we have 4. Here are Week 5's Pro Division games. The 1 and 2 Dallas Elite Mustangs are on the road looking to move to 500 on the season as they get set to play the 3-0 OKC Lady Force of Division 3. The 1 and 2 Detroit Venom is also looking to move to 500 on the season when they host the 0 and 2 Columbus Chaos of Division 2. And in head-to-head matchups, the 2 and 1 Minnesota Vixen look to rebound from their first regular season loss last week since the 2019 season when they welcomed the 3-0 Arlington Impact. Last season, Minnesota beat the Impact in both the regular and postseasons. 2 undefeated American Conference teams battle it out on the West Coast as the 3-0 Cali War welcome the 2-0 Nevada Storm. These 2 teams will meet again in 2 weeks with home field advantage for the playoffs on the line. Both teams are looking for a big win. The 2 and 1 DC Divas welcome the 2 and 1 Tampa Bay Inferno to our nation's capital. And in the game of the week, 2 more undefeated teams, the 3-0 Boston Renegades and the 2-0 Pittsburgh Passion, will meet in Boston. The St. Louis Slam are the only Pro Division team on a bye this week. We'll be right back.
The Women's Football Alliance wants to thank their sponsors, KT Tape, Coors Light, Wilson, Aid Nation, Zenith, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, Secret, and the NFL Alumni Academy. Thank you for your support of the Women's Football Alliance.
Alex Westhead is back to break down the Boston-Pittsburgh matchup.
Week 5 game of the week in the WFA Pro Division features a return to the National Conference for the first time since Week 1. As a team from that Week 1 matchup, the Pittsburgh Passion traveled to Boston to take on the defending WFA Pro Division champion, Boston Renegades. We first pick up where we left off with the Pittsburgh Passion after their 27-8 victory over the Detroit Venom. In Week 2 and Week 3, those were the bye weeks for the Pittsburgh Passion, and they took the time to rest, get healthy for a 35-0 victory in Week 4 over the Division 3 Tri-State Warriors. The Pittsburgh Passion are led by quarterback Alyssa George. So far this season, through 2 contests for the Pittsburgh Passion, 10 for 17, 114 yards through the air, and 2 touchdowns along of 46. George also has the distinguished capability of wearing number 27, an unconventional number for a quarterback, but so far she's gotten the job done for the Pittsburgh Passion. The ground game for the Pittsburgh Passion is evenly spread out between 3 featured running backs, number 11, Marcelina Chavez, number 4, Maria Fatali, and number 20, Ariel Smith. The triad of running backs for the Pittsburgh Passion carry over 100 yards so far this season and have a pair of rushing touchdowns from Chavez and Ariel Smith. The receiving core is similar, as Chavez with 2 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown this season. The other one belongs to number 22, Allison Malarski, as she has 1 touchdown and a reception of 26 yards for the Pittsburgh Passion. Defensively, they're led by a number of players, specifically number 36, Hannah Dahman, who leads the team in tackles combined with 18, Devin Pierce with 14 tackles, and Caitlin Niedermeyer with 13 tackles for the Pittsburgh Passion, including 4 of which for Niedermeyer were tackles for loss. If we take a look at the sack category, there's 3 Pittsburgh Passion members that have sacked so far this season. Chelsea Biggers with 2, Hannah Dahman with 1, and Autumnese Gardner with 1 as well. The Passion have 3 interceptions defensively from Jasmine Jones, Naja Brokaw, and LaWanda Pearson, 1 return of which was for 12 yards, and 1 fumble recovery from Chelsea Biggers. And the kicking game, Brandy Polnick, the featured kicking specialist for the Pittsburgh Passion, is 1 for 2 so far this season, and Pittsburgh's converted 1 2-point conversion so far this season. When we take a look at the schedule the rest of the way for the Pittsburgh Passion after this contest with Boston, they'll have contests at the Columbus Chaos, a rematch with the Detroit Venom at home, and then they'll conclude their regular season with the DC Divas on May the 28th in a matchup that will have significant playoff implications. We take a look now at the Boston Renegades, the homestanding Boston Renegades. Their last time out against the Detroit Venom was decisive, 49-0 over Detroit at home in their home opener. Their other two previous matchups have also been 40-point victories, 47-0 at the Tampa Bay Inferno on April 23rd, and 69-28 at the DC Divas on April the 16th. They are led by what should be Hall of Fame-bound quarterback Allison Cahill, who has been assaulting teams through the air so far this season. 412 yards already, leader in the WFA in that receiving and passing category. 40 completions for 55 yards, 412 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an impressive passer rating of 122.7. They are led on the ground by one of the international stars for the Boston Renegades, Taidi Kusanen, with 32 carries and 161 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground. And they have used the ground game well. It's a great compliment to Cahill, as Cahill can still sling the ball very, very well. But when she has that extra back and has that extra outlet in the running game, she can take advantage of it over some defenses that are going to need to be kept guessing. In the receiving game for the Boston Renegades, number 3, Stephanie Pasquale, leads with 8 receptions, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. In fact, 5 of the Boston Renegades receivers have at least 1 touchdown. Renate Meckel has 2 receiving touchdowns on 77 yards and 5 receptions this season for the Boston Renegades. The Renegades also tackle extremely well. Their tackling leader is number 23, Spring Gamble, with 21 combined tackles, 9 solo tackles this season. And when we look at tackles for loss, it's an area where the Boston Renegades certainly would look to improve. As so far, their leading tackler for loss is Laura Pula with 2.5 tackles for loss this season. Problem is, though, for opposing offenses, if they're keeping them behind schedule, 1 yard, 2 yard, 3 yard gains, you don't necessarily need to tackle for loss if you're not getting the big explosive plays that you need to really be successful and keep the chains moving. The Boston Renegades defense has done that very well through each of the last 2 weeks, shutting out opponents their last 2 weeks. They have 2 sacks recorded this season, one for number 53, Deanna Walsh, and another for number 40, Selena Pasquale. They have 4 interceptions, 3 of which by number 5, Shanita Creech, and a return of 36 yards for a touchdown, leading the Renegades' secondary defense. We take a look at their kicking game. For the Boston Renegades, Sarah Tully, 12 for 12 on point after tries. Maria Martinez is 2 for 3, and Alexandra Guimaraes is 0 for 1. As with the Pittsburgh Passion, the Boston Renegades have yet to attempt a field goal, and none of the teams really have yet as of this moment. But as we march closer to the playoffs, it would not be a surprise to see teams begin to do that. Here's my keys for this matchup. For the Pittsburgh Passion, as it is with so many teams, they need to contain Allison Cahill. No matter how many times she plays, no matter how many seasons she plays, no matter how much film is available on Allison Cahill, she will still carve up defenses if they are not ready to go. Even if you keep her in between the pockets, she's still going to find the receivers that get open. The compliments of receivers that Allison Cahill has had over the course of her career have been impressive. We said last year on the road to Canton, Allison Cahill was the first women's professional football quarterback to achieve 100 victories as a quarterback for any professional franchise. Pittsburgh Passion are going to have to do a great job of getting to her, getting pressure on her, and making sure that she stays flustered. It's going to be a tough task, but if the Pittsburgh Passion can do it, they may be on their way to victory. My key for the Boston Renegades here in week number 5 is that they simply need to keep doing what's working so well for them. They get out to big margins and they can cruise for the rest of the contest and continue to hand the ball off to wind the clock down. It's not so much the big explosive plays that work really well for the Boston Renegades, it's the small plays. Boston does all the small things right and they don't make a lot of mistakes. For the Renegades, if they can stay ahead of schedule, if they can keep the offense moving and on the field, they put up 40 points in each of their last seasons. And in fact, if we take a look at the head-to-head matchups between Pittsburgh and Boston over their time since the Boston Renegades rebrand, you'll see that the Boston Renegades have won 3 of the 4 matchups between Boston and Pittsburgh. The last time that these two teams played was in the 2018 season, where they split. Pittsburgh won the regular season game by a tally of 44-41, winning by just 3 points, before the Boston Renegades did what they do in the playoffs, winning by almost 40 points. It's going to be important for Boston to maintain that standard of excellence that the Renegades have, and not to be flustered by a Pittsburgh Passion team that appears to be well supported, and that certainly will look to set the entire country on upset watch as the Passion and the Renegades go head-to-head in week number 5. It's a game that also will have massive implications for the Massey ratings and the playoff structure. If the Massey ratings are situated and if the playoffs began today, this would be your playoff matchups in the National Conference. The Boston Renegades, at number 1 overall in the Massey ratings in the WFA, would host the Detroit Passion, and right now the Pittsburgh Passion at number 4 in the WFA Pro would travel to the DC Divas. There's a lot that can change in between that, but a good performance here from Pittsburgh certainly can improve their rating, but also bring Boston back down to the rest of the pack, as the gap between the Renegades and the DC Divas already is significant, with Boston's huge win over DC earlier this season. But every win that Boston gets the rest of the way could potentially separate themselves from the pack even more, and they could be at home on the road to Canton. The rest of the schedule for the Boston Renegades features a contest at the St. Louis Slam, which certainly appears to be a far better team at home than they are on the road, and then a rematch with the DC Divas. The Boston Renegades are in the driver's seat on the road to Canton. Will the Pittsburgh Passion be able to upset them this week and upset the road to Canton? We'll find out Saturday night.
This week and next week are the midpoints of the 2022 season. Soon we should start to see where the teams are going to align themselves for the playoffs. Make sure that you're following a team near you. For Alex Westhead, Brandy J. and Lois Cook, I'm Brian Sweeney, and we'll see you next week on the road to Canton.
Thank you for watching the preceding presentation from the Women's Football Alliance.